Today, we're diving into something we literally all face at some point, and that's that absolute bone-deep exhaustion right before a breakthrough. We're gonna look at the actual mechanics of pushing past your breaking point to finally achieve that success you've been fighting so hard for. So if you've ever felt like just throwing in the towel, well, you're exactly where you need to be.
So here is the big question. Why do we quit when the finish line is just one step away? It's an agonizing reality, honestly. The source material highlights this heartbreaking pattern where most people abandon their goals right at the final hurdle. I mean, they put in the time, they do the grueling work, and then right when victory is literally within arm's reach, they drop out of the competition at the last possible minute. It's kind of like swimming across an entire ocean, only to let yourself drown a few feet from the shore. Crazy, right? But here's the simple truth we need to get straight. Winners aren't from another planet. They really aren't. They're not superhuman beings with special powers or some kind of magical genetics. They are ordinary people, exactly like you and me. The difference? They just do things differently. When they start something, they absolutely refuse to back down. They give every single ounce of what they have because to them, backing down just doesn't make logical sense anymore. All right, moving into section 1, don't quit before winning. Giving 100% of your 100%.
You see, real success means seeing the entire war through and taking things just one step at a time. You literally can't just skip to the end. Think about it. If you want to fly, you absolutely must conquer the basic steps first. You have to learn to stand, then walk, then run, and then finally you fly. It's all about starting exactly where you are today, doing what's possible right now until you build up the capacity and the confidence to pull off the impossible tomorrow. Everyone wants that final reward, but very few are willing to master those grueling, unglamorous early stages. That brings us to section 2, redefining success and failure, shifting your perspective. Let's talk about the act of falling down. The source makes a super clear distinction here. Falling down is not defeat. Look, life is gonna hit you hard, and you will fall. It happens to literally everyone on Earth. But true defeat, that's falling down and refusing to get back up. Failing simply isn't the core problem. Choosing to stay on the ground and not restarting, that is the actual failure. It's basically the only time you truly lose.
So the absolutely crucial point here is how we frame our journey. Let's do a quick mental exercise. Imagine your path to success is exactly 10 steps along. Just 10 steps to everything you've ever wanted. Now, out of those 10 steps, up to 8 of them might be pure, agonizing failure. But here is the vital takeaway. Those 8 failures, they're just stairs. They are not your destination. Every single misstep buys you the exact knowledge you need for the next step. Every time you stumble on step 3 or step 6, you are gathering critical data on what doesn't work, and that pushes you upward. And once you reach that 10th step, that final victory literally pays the price of all those previous failures. Only the success is remembered, not the stumbles it took to get there. The world completely forgives 100 failures the very moment you deliver one undeniable success. Let's dive into section 3, overcoming the 99%, staying in the race. We really need to look at the brutal statistics of ambition here. 99% of people stop after facing just 1 or 2 failures. Think about that. The struggle gets a bit too real, it takes a little extra time, and they drop out. They convince themselves, well, it just wasn't meant to be. But what that does is leave the finish line incredibly uncrowded. It's reserved entirely for the 1% who simply decide to persist and ultimately win. The competition isn't actually all that fierce at the very top because almost everyone naturally eliminates themselves down at the bottom. And here is the truly beautiful part for that 1%. Struggle, time, and sacrifice, they don't matter at all once you cross the finish line. Nobody asks how many hours you cried, how much energy it drained, or how many times you had to completely start over from scratch. Once you win, only the victory remains. Your past struggles are instantly rewritten into this heroic backstory of your success. Moving right along to section 4, the power of belief, conquering your mind. Real victory is actually decided on a psychological battlefield way before you even take a single action. There's this incredibly powerful phrase highlighted in the source. If you assume it, it's defeat. If you determine it, it's victory. It perfectly emphasizes that losing is so often a choice born from a weak mindset. Think about it. If you go into a challenge thinking, I can't do this, the competition is just way too tough, you have literally eliminated yourself before the starting gun even fires. Your body is never going to go somewhere your mind hasn't already been.
This kind of mindset completely reframes defeat into a useful tool. Embracing defeat is absolutely crucial because it exposes your absolute weaknesses. And hey, once you see the flaw, you can fix it. Fixing it builds an ironclad determination, and that determination unlocks the power to find solutions to literally any problem in your path. It stops being about nervously avoiding failure and starts being about aggressively gathering the data you need to secure the win.
Take the legendary story of Dashrat Manji as proof. For 22 years, he literally carved a road through a 300-foot mountain using just a hammer and a chisel. I mean, let that sink in for a second. 22 straight years of chipping away at solid rock. He didn't do it because someone gave him a nice daily pep talk or because he scrolled through external motivational videos every morning. No way. He did it with pure, raw, internal resolve. True power comes from an unbreakable internal vow. When your why is strong enough, the how just becomes a matter of time.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, the Unstoppable Winner's Mindset, igniting the fire. To really ignite that fire, you need to face life's darkest moments. You absolutely must understand that the first and the biggest victory is conquering yourself. Before you can pass any exam, before you can defeat any competitor or break any mountain, you first have to win that brutal war raging inside your own head. The self-doubt, the fear, that intense creeping urge to just quit, that is your true and arguably your only opponent.
You have got to channel absolute defiance. The Source uses this incredible promise you make to yourself. Until we break it, we won't leave it. It's a rock-solid vow that no matter how incredibly hard it gets, no matter how much time it takes, you will not stop until the obstacle is completely destroyed and the goal is yours. It is a commitment that just rips quitting right off the menu. It's not an option anymore. So, I want to leave you with one final thought today. Life is hitting you hard. We all know that. The question is, how are you going to hit back? Are you going to stay down on the ground like the 99%? Or are you going to stop taking the hits, strike back with literally everything you have, and finally cross that finish line? Because honestly, that choice is entirely yours. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you in the next one.